A G0 world is one that lacks global leadership. We've, since World War II, lived in different variations of a G1 world, right? The United States coming out of World War II as the only power left standing, creating the Bretton Woods Accord on currency, the World Bank, the IMF, the United Nations, and then with the G6, the G7, the G8, it was still a matter of America's allies, its values, its priorities, its economic, its political system. That's what we had, a system of U.S.-led globalization. With the financial crisis in 2008, that system came to a halt. We created the G20. The conceit behind it was the world's 20 largest economies, both emerging markets and developed states, would come together and would provide new leadership that's aspirational, but in reality it doesn't exist. The G0 is what we have, and that's a world where the United States is not willing to provide the kinds of leadership it has historically, but no other countries are capable of stepping into that vacuum. This is not a book about the demise of the United States. I do not believe that the U.S. is in decline. Anyone that looks at the size of the American economy, the wealth of the American economy, the technology that America develops through its entrepreneurship, biotech, nanotech, unconventional gas and oil, those technologies are dominated overwhelmingly by the United States. The patents are, the profits are, American universities. That's not going away. This is not a story about U.S. decline. But there are many people that do believe the U.S. is in decline. Let's be clear. The reason I talk about the G0 is whether or not you think the U.S. is in decline, whether or not you think it, the U.S. is not about to bail out Europe the way that they have historically. Whether or not you think the U.S. is in decline, they are not going to lead an agreement on global climate. They are not going to remove Assad from power in Syria. In my view, they're not going to bomb Iran. People are asking about maybe Israel might do it. Why? Well, because people know that the U.S. doesn't have that intention. I don't believe that the G0 is sustainable over the long term. I do not believe that this is the new world order that we will have for generations. Nature abhors a vacuum. Geopolitics abhors a vacuum as well. So the question is, when does the G0 fall apart? When is it replaced by something else? Both the inertia of major government players as well as the difficulty in creating a new environment means that this isn't a matter of months. I think that the G0 is likely to hold for 5 to, say, 20 years. And then the question is, what replaces it? I think we're uncertain. There are certainly two questions you need to answer if you want to know what replaces the G0. The first is, what is the orientation of the world's two most important economies towards each other, the United States and China? U.S. right now, the #1 economy, though at some point in the G0, China is likely to take that mantle. And then the second question is, how much do other countries matter? Does Europe matter? Are they able to get through this fiscal crisis and act as an important player in the global balance of power? India, does it become more important over time or less? Brazil, Turkey? And I think looking at it from 2012, you would make a fairly strong bet the United States and China are heading towards a worse relationship. They are increasingly competing. They're aware of the fact that they're competing, but they're increasingly going to be structurally competing on issues like market share and resources and over climate issues, security, allies in the region, cyber issues, and the like. And that other countries are likely to matter quite a bit, in part because the Chinese will be so incredibly distracted domestically, and the United States is going to continue to be unwilling, for lots of domestic reasons, to be the global policeman or to be the global lender of last resort that they have been historically. If that's true, the world we're heading towards is one that there will not be new global architecture to replace the one that was led by the United States. Instead, we will have regional centers of power, and some of those will work efficiently, some of those will work very inefficiently indeed. It's a much less attractive global environment for, say, investment and for security than the one that we've had.